Hey guys, I want to walk you through another full example of how to do a write about reading. This is a reader's response that is more detailed than just a quick paragraph or jotting down your thoughts. This is when we are completely making a plan and then using that plan to write a very detailed answer. So, today in our novel, we read about a very sad event where Ravi had his first encounter of Dylan's true colors. So I gave you the question, how does Ravi's reaction to Dylan in chapter 25 prove Ravi and Joe are more alike than they think? So we're going to use that QT chart that I showed you last week. So you have an example already done for you. Here's our question. We're going to separate our paper, and all I did was fold my paper in half again to make my line. The text says, my thoughts. We always want to have two pieces of evidence at least when we're trying to prove a point. 2 is best, 3 is even better. So we're going to start with 2. If we're trying to prove how Ravi and Joe are alike, then I'm going to have an example of Ravi and an example of Joe. My first example from the book is, suddenly it dawns on me, I am the Ramaswamy of Albert Einstein Elementary School, curryhead, a loser, and the butt of the joke. My thoughts. This quote made me think. Ravi now knows what it's like to be made fun of. He's probably thinking about how all the students will be calling him that name, like how Joe is called Pud. They are now alike because Dylan has an awful nickname for them both. It's not fair. The other students just jump on Dylan's bandwagon. Then I have an example from Joe because I'm proving how Ravi and Joe are alike. Joe said, I feel sorry for him. It's not easy being a zebra. In fact, it sucks. That made me think. Joe knows exactly what it feels like to be a zebra. With Dylan as the ever-lurking crocodile, both Ravi and Joe have to watch out for his surprise attacks. See how nice and organized this is? Having my plan written down neatly, I am now going to be able to compose a very well-developed response. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some color coding so that you can see where I am using this information in my response. So first, our question is going to be in yellow. So we have, how does Ravi's reaction to Dylan in chapter 25 prove Ravi and Joe are more alike than they think? I'm trying to answer that. Now, look over here. Notice my very first sentence says, Joe and Ravi are more alike than they think. Huh! Is that not directly from the question? So then I'm going to go ahead and highlight that to show I included it. Then I have both have fallen victim to the evil Dylan Samreen. Is that also a part of the question? It is. So I'm going to highlight that as well. I go on to say, Ravi finally had his first big encounter of Dylan's bullying ways. Now that's not exactly a part of the question. That's where I'm getting ready for my response. So I am going to highlight in pink what I have to prove Ravi. So for the text says, this is my direct quote that I'm going to use there. Now I'm going to try to find that over here. Ravi finally had his first big encounter of Dylan's bullying ways. Ravi says, remember we're talking about dialogue, suddenly it dawns on me, I am the Ramaswamy of Albert Einstein Elementary School. So I'm going to highlight my direct quote. This makes me think. That's right there. So I'm going to change colors so you can see this more clearly. This whole section of my thoughts for Ravi is going to be green. And now when I use these thoughts over here, I'm going to do the same thing. This makes me think. Ravi now knows. Ravi now knows. It's matching. This makes me think Ravi now knows how terrible it is to be made fun of. He's probably thinking about how all the students will be calling him that name, like Joe is called Pud. Notice I made a new paragraph because this is my information for Ravi. Well, now I'm changing to a new character, so I'm also going to change paragraphs, and I have indented. So I'm moving on to Joe. So we're going to highlight the direct quote of Joe in orange. I feel sorry for him. It's not easy being a zebra. In fact, it sucks. So this next paragraph, they're alike now because Dylan has an awful nickname for them both. That's not one of my direct quotes. That is actually going to be a part of the question again. How are they alike? They are alike now because. And then I have, Joe thinks I feel sorry for him. It's not easy being a zebra. In fact, it sucks. So, highlighting. Joe knows exactly. Joe knows exactly. That's my thoughts. So, those are going to be highlighted in, I was supposed to have a blue.